HMLA-775, the Coyotes, a reserve light attack helicopter squadron. The job here is genuinely rewarding, but it's also humbling. You see pilots come through this ready room in training, and if this squadron were to deploy, it would probably be the most experienced ready room in the Marine Corps. These pilots bring more flight hours than a lot of active squadrons have, some with combat deployments dating back to the early 2000s, helping ensure they're ready to go out the door when needed. That's what makes this rewarding. Leading Marines is always a great opportunity, and watching how hard both the active duty and active reserve components work makes this as rewarding as any job I've had. This is the greatest job in the Marine Corps, and I'm lucky to have done it this long. We need both components to stay ready. The Coyotes are a reserve light attack helicopter squadron based at Camp Pendleton, California, with 18 aircraft and almost 400 Marines, 10 Cobras and 8 Hueys. One of the major differences is that our personnel are mostly Marine Corps reservists, weekend warriors who drill 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year, often more, while holding civilian jobs, careers and families outside the Marine Corps. Lieutenant Colonel Jack Guevara, callsign Chile, commanding officer of Marine Light Attack Helicopter Squadron 775, the Coyotes, I commissioned from the Naval Academy and was an active duty Cobra pilot for about 9 years, serving with HMLA-267, the Stingers, and HMLA-469, Vengeance. I did 3 deployments, SoCal MEU, Afghanistan, and the unit deployment program to Okinawa. I got out in 2015, attended Columbia Business School, spent 4 years as a strategy consultant at McKinsey Company in San Francisco, then moved back to San Diego. I'm now Senior Director of Operations and Strategy at Clearway Energy Group. This is one of the best jobs in the Marine Corps. Yesterday I taught at the Lance Corporal Seminar and the Corporal's Course, part of the professional military education for young Marines who are the next generation of leaders. Getting to pass on hard-won lessons and watch them grow is one of the highlights of being commanding officer. It's very different from an active duty unit. Instead of one lieutenant colonel leading a group of Marines still developing their qualifications, we have a ready room full of experienced aviators. Nearly half are Weapons and Tactics Instructors, and about 3/4 are Night Systems Instructors, the second highest qualification. You won't find that concentration of qualifications, designations, combat flight hours, or years of experience in any active duty squadron. That's unique to the Coyotes. Some of the people in this squadron I've known for nearly a quarter century. Guys I went to college and flight school with, deployed with, was roommates with in Afghanistan, stood in each other's weddings, and am godparent to each other's children. These are some of my closest friends. Strapping into an aircraft with them on the weekend, after your civilian job, and doing what we were trained to do. It's an awesome feeling, and it keeps the camaraderie alive with the rest of the Marines. Day to day, we're resourced at roughly 1/3 of what active duty gets, but with that third, we fly about 2/3 of active duty's flight hours. We maintain a comparable level of readiness and accomplish many of the same missions, despite not being here every day. Lieutenant Colonel Russell Ramadka, callsign HBN, and Brian Cole, callsign Warhead. I came to Camp Pendleton around 2009 and joined the Vipers, HMLA-169. I did a couple of deployments with them, 2 alongside Russell, before he left for weapons school. After about 5.5 years with HMLA-169, I moved to 1st Marine Raid, our battalion based at Camp Pendleton for about 2.5 years deploying to the Pacific. After that I left active duty and joined HMLA-775 in 2017, and I've been here since. I grew up flying in HMLA-169, did most of my initial training and deployments there, then went to weapons school in Yuma. After that I got out, joined the reserves in a different unit in Louisiana while working my civilian job and still flying, then came back to the West Coast where I now fly EMS helicopters and fly for the Coyotes. I like it here because I've known these guys for decades. It's slightly different from active duty. Everyone's already trained and qualified, so when you come in, you're focused on whatever you're not proficient in. Haven't flown in clouds lately? Come do that. Haven't done night brownout landings? Take a bird out and practice those. Haven't shot in a while? Go shoot. Our job is to be ready. We don't have a routine deployment schedule, so it's not bound by the same strict structure as active duty. You just have to stay proficient on your weak areas, and that's up to the individual. Everyone here is an adult who's already gone through the process, which makes it work. The standard requirement is 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year, like any reserve unit, but it's flexible. There aren't enough aircraft for every pilot to show up every weekend anyway, so plenty of local guys come in during the week. My civilian job doesn't allow me to keep that schedule, so I typically come for 5 to 6 days every 3 months or so, depending on the job. I currently fly for a helicopter air ambulance service on a 7 days on, 7 days off schedule, so I can't always make drill weekends. I combine my off weeks with drill time instead. I'd say I try to get down here about once a month, but once a quarter is fine too. I just come in for longer stretches. It ends up being roughly 40 to 50 days a year between ground training and meeting flight hour and currency requirements. Lieutenant Colonel Vince Dara, I'm the active duty site commander at CAMS. P. Hamilton, with Marine Aviation Logistics Squadron 41, Detachment Alpha, the active duty and active reserve component supporting HMLA-775. Our job is to make sure the pilots and maintainers in the reserve unit have ready aircraft, facilities, and training available when they show up to drill. Lieutenant Colonel Guevara leads the squadron. My job is to support him and all these Marines, pilots, maintainers, and support staff, and to lead them until he's on deck, then help with whatever they need for training and readiness. They have a limited amount of time to become as ready as possible, and it's our job to have the squadron and aircraft ready when they're here. I moved to Fort Worth, Texas, in 2018 to work in oil and gas, trucking and logistics after being in San Diego the previous decade. Traveling from Fort Worth makes it hard to attend every weekend, so it works better to set aside a week to a week and a half and come out every 3 to 4 months. That way you knock the rust off properly, rather than doing a sim, doing a flight, and then not flying again for a month. If you're not ready to fully leave the military, this is why a lot of us are here. After 10 or 11 years active duty, you're at a halfway point, but that's been your whole life. So this is a great transition. You still get to fly, which is what you love. The downside is it might be 3 or 4 months between flights, so you need to stay competent and comfortable flying at that frequency. It's a great way to keep wearing the uniform and stay part of what you joined for. There's a whole range of reasons to do the reserves. It's a good transition, but it's also fun. Flying attack and utility helicopters without active duties restrictions, going home at the end of the weekend, setting your own schedule. You come in and do what you love, or used to love, and get to keep doing it. The pay and benefits are strong too. If you're getting out without a job lined up, this is a great way to make money while keeping those benefits. I flew the November model when I first joined the Marine Corps, and moving to the Venom felt like going from a Fiat to a Lamborghini. It has 2 big engines, can carry more than you can fit in it, and is nimble. A great, fun, durable platform. It has small issues here and there like any helicopter, but it's proven its durability many times over. Yesterday we took 3 aircraft out. 2 were shooters carrying ordnance, supporting a ground force on deck with joint terminal attack controllers. Our aircraft served as the photo bird, capturing the mission. The Huey lets us execute the ground support mission while also flying comfortably alongside each other. Everyone's used to having a 3rd aircraft in the flight as a photo bird. One of our missions is to support wherever we're needed, not just active duty Marines. In the past, we've supported special operations units in their training, and we can support any joint force we're tasked to. As both a utility and attack helicopter squadron, our customer base is fluid. We support whoever our command tells us to. I commissioned in 2008 and have been a Cobra pilot my entire career, as a captain, then as a major serving as executive officer with an active duty fleet squadron, and now as site commander here. I've moved between multiple jobs in and out of the cockpit, as most active duty Marines do, which is different from Lieutenant Colonel Dara's pilots, who predominantly just fly, and that's what they're best at. This is the greatest job in the Marine Corps, and I'm lucky to have done it as long as I have.